Hi there, I'm Joey.
I'm Jacob.
And we are watching Star Trek for the first time. Last time on Star Trek, the 80s.
Yeah.
In the 80s, and...
Kirk got demoted / promoted.
And, nuclear vessels, and it was great. It was a great time.
Good time.
I had a fantastic time with that. Today, I fear I may be in for a slightly less good time.
I also fear that.
So it's like... I'm trying to think of the episode. Okay. Remember how I said when we were watching TOS, I was like, there's that one episode that everybody's always like, oh my god, did you get to this yet? With Trouble with Tribbles. They always talked about Trouble with Tribbles. They want me to watch it. We did it.
And we hadn't yet, then we watched it, and it was a good time, generally.
This is kind of the one that people always bring up when I say I'm watching Star Trek movies. They're like, oh my god, did you see the terrible William Shatner one yet? And... that's all I know. I do also know, this is also the only other one that I kind of know something about, but only because I've heard it made fun of. Something to do with God.
Something to do with God? You know what? Sure, why not?
That's it.
Is it? I mean, my worst fear is that it's directed by Shatner, written by Roddenberry.
That would be the worst. Although I don't think Roddenberry wrote anything for the films. Thankfully.
I wouldn't be surprised though if his name appeared on the story by though.
Could you imagine though? Like, if there's a scene in this movie where William Shatner has himself talk to, like, the Christian God.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I feel like that's something he'd do.
I think, like, Shatner would do that. I think that's something he would totally do.
Yeah.
Especially depending on on how strongly he had a hand in the creative role of it.
Yeah. Which I guess that's something I also don't know. I only know that he directed it, but I don't know exactly how much he had to do with the story of it.
I would be more worried if I saw he had anything to do with the story.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he had it.
Although Nimoy helped with the story on Voyage Home, so...
yeah. Well, I think he kind of needed to, though.
Yeah. He didn't need to.
Maybe he did.
To just say this is Spock's character arc, I feel like other people could have figured that out. I think it was all the better because he figured it out.
Yeah.
Unless you're specifically referring to the whale stuff.
This kind of.
I feel like that was Nimoy. But anyway, I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We're going to get into post-film thoughts in a second. Be sure to join us then. We are about to watch Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. That fucking sucked.
That was terrible.
That fucking sucked. Oh, wow. Whew, man.
I think we first knew that was going to happen when we saw that he was on the story by team.
Yeah, so that's the thing is, like, yeah, because we were like, okay, well, he directed it, but sure, is it his fault that the story is bad? And turns out it is. Okay, you know what baffles me the most about this movie, actually?
What's that?
The first thing I actually want to bring up is that little Klingon subplot that seems to only be there because TNG has a Klingon, I think, on their ship.
I think.
And so they're like, they have to end the movie saying that, like, oh yeah, well eventually Starfleet and Klingons are going to like each other.
Right.
Which is a good thing to have there. But like, you could just tell watching the film, you're just like, this has no place here. This does not belong here at all.
This plotline makes no sense.
Yeah.
Outside of that knowledge.
Yeah.
And I said it as the credits are going by. I said to you, like, I feel like the last few films specifically, we have been reading into the fact we know TNG has like better relationship with Klingons.
Mm-hmm.
But this
is actually doing it.
Right. We've probably been reading into it when it wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
But like this had it.
There's a really funny moment though where Daddy Klingon makes his son apologize to Kirk, which I genuinely found that funny. I thought that was good. Speaking of familial relationships in Star Trek, Spock has a half-brother.
Named
Sybok.
Who is fully Klingon. Yeah, fully Klingon.
Fully Vulcan.
That would be amazing if he's fully Klingon.
Sarek gets down, I guess.
Wouldn't he have had to been older?
I guess.
Considering
he's still with Amanda?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? I mean, okay, so, like... I mean, it's artificial character drama anyway.
Yeah.
Like this shit doesn't actually have any meaning.
Right. Like if they could have just as easily pulled out Spock's evil twin brother.
Yeah, and it would have mattered about as much. At least they make the effort to kind of work it in. It's still weird, though. Oh, man. Okay, so, like, what was with our whole, like... planet of the Raiders of the Lost Ark with the desert and that like what was it, Paradise City out in the
Yeah,
middle
it's
of nowhere?
Paradise City. The idea was, if I followed it, the between time in Star Trek lore between the series ending, like TAS and stuff,
Mhm.
but and like the second film, like that and like that time span,
Yeah.
there was some kind of like neutral agreement that in the neutral zone that like it's sort of a paradise planet.
Huh.
that plan immediately went to shit, which is hilarious.
Yeah. You know what really threw me about the beginning of this movie though?
The fact it looked like Mad Max.
Well, yeah, there was that. It was a weird like, I don't know, it was weird. But so like, I don't know. I think I'm just so used to ridiculously long opening Star Trek credits in the movies that like the fact that they were actually short and succinct, and then they just continue playing them over the opening shots, which were still also pointlessly long.
Mm-hmm.
Shatner had to like film himself climbing up a mountain.
Watching a Mission Impossible mission or something.
Man thinks he's Tom Cruise. I don't know. It's weird. So like, Shatner recognizes that one of the things that makes this crew on Star Trek work is the relationship between Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Right.
So he writes a lot of... Not writes. I mean, he probably didn't write them, but like he
definitely had influence on.
There are a lot of scenes involving those three, and trying to have like genuine character drama and fun moments between them. The fun moments last way too long in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, the first campfire scene is bizarre, and
Like,
same
it could
as
have
the
been,
last one.
like, it starts with being kind of, the first campfire scene.
Yeah,
Starts
the
actually
whole
being funny.
yeah, with the whole Tennessee whiskey and there, I thought it was fun, and
It could have even ended on the joke of Spock wanting to roast a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Because he knows that what you do.
yeah.
If the scene ended like there, it would have been nice and funny still.
And then it's just like, and then just awkwardly, Shatner just keeps the camera on them. It's just like, it doesn't need to be there. Like, you had a nice little fun scene to tell us, like, hey, these are still like characters that enjoy each other's company, and it's just, I don't know.
And for once, we don't have to say that's character development.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, David Warner is here. That's lovely. I love seeing David Warner.
I do. I could pick out his voice in a crowd.
His voice is beautiful. I love him. That said, he really doesn't need to be here after like the first act.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, he just kind of like sticks around. It's same with the Romulan. Actually, no, the Klingon was important. Cord. I liked Cord.
Yes.
Cord was cool. And he gets that great moment at the end with his son. That was his son, right?
I don't know if it was a son or not, but it doesn't really matter if we're honest.
He treats him like his dad.
He treats him like
his dad,
a son,
it's
yeah.
weird. Oh man, I love in those opening moments the Sulu and Chekhov fucking around and like her trying to contact them.
Right.
You know, with their storm and like Chekhov blowing into the communicator.
That was really funny.
That show was fun. I had a good time with that.
You see, they had the fun moment.
Exactly, yeah. And I didn't overstay its welcome. What is with Shatner's shirt that says "Go climb a rock"? Am I missing a joke there? I feel like I'm missing a joke there.
I feel like we're missing a joke.
I don't know. Also, there's a guy that Kirk casually refers to as Bob, and I thought it was the same Bob from TAS.
Right.
Assuming that these movies would ever acknowledge TAS,
We're
which
probably...
they fucking should. So yeah, so a lot of my notes here end in question marks.
That doesn't surprise me. Having just seen the film.
Spock knows the Vulcan. I have Uhura hits on Scotty? Question mark.
Not in that order.
No, I'm just looking for the ones with question marks. I have friction, question mark, because there's some really weird artificial, like, friction between Kirk, Spock, and McCoy.
Right.
Especially when, like, I don't know, they try to do this weird plotline where it's like, oh, Spock, like, cares about Cybok, so he doesn't want to kill him, or he doesn't want to, like, hurt him in any way. But, like, I don't know, the film hasn't made me feel that relationship at all. Like, because why would Spock care about him when he had all his caring about people development after he left Cybok? So like it's weird. Also, how did Cybok get stuck on that planet on Nimbus 3?
How did he get... You see, that's what I was wondering. So, there was no spaceships on that planet.
Uh-huh.
So how did he get there?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a question mark around Shatner's performance because it's just fucking bizarre.
For a lot of the film, he just comes off as kind of drunk.
Yeah, it's really weird. Speaking of weird, my next question mark note is the bit where Uhura distracts these guys on Nimbus 3 by dancing. And on one hand, I'm like, hey, go to Shawn Nichols. But also, like, what? So that was weird.
And the shots are weird too, because like they have her positioned up. Not that it's important, I suppose, but they have her on a sand dune,
Yeah.
and they have like this group of guys like climbing up to see her.
Yeah. I don't know.
Weird.
Yeah. There's a 3-breasted Catwoman.
Again,
I had to comment on it because it would be, I wouldn't feel the need to comment on it if it was only in the first little scene when Cybok takes the 3 hostages, but she comes back then, and it's I don't know.
So we've also neglected to mention that Cybok can brainwash people.
Yes, pretty much just by like breaking their spirit.
Yeah.
Until they agree with him, it seems.
Yeah, that's absolutely what's happening.
Yeah. Actually, you know what actually was like. I wasn't into it because of like being into the film or anything, or being into like Cybok's mission, but like I love Dr. Leonard McCoy.
Honestly, I knew exactly.
I loved the bit with his dad. I thought that was really cool.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, and I mean that's genuine like tragedy in his past, which we don't hear about often. We don't hear about McCoy's past much, which is annoying. But yeah, apparently he had to like he basically had to like pull the plug on his dad.
And then very shortly later, find a cure for what was wrong with him.
Yeah, it's a great moment. It really is. But again, it's just wrapped in this weird like you have to be invested in Cybok's mission as well.
Mm-hmm. So I love it too. Like Cybok essentially goes, "Let me see your biggest, your biggest heartache or whatever."
Yeah, and then Spock sees his own birth,
and that is his biggest heartache.
Yeah,
literally the act of being born.
Yeah. Goddamn. I
like to think that's every Vulcan's like biggest nightmare, just the fact they have to be alive.
Yeah. I was doing some looking into the film as we were watching it, because there were certain aspects of it that I was really confused by. But I did find out some cool things as I was looking it up. Apparently, Sean Connery was approached to play Cybok originally, which is really interesting. And also, something that I kind of like about it, because I don't know, I like... And Shatner as a person, he's not a great person, but I kind of dig his cynicism sometimes. Mm-hmm. In that his idea for this film came from his own criticisms of televangelists and their own scams.
And knowing that, you could really see that in the film.
Yeah, you can see where it comes from. It's really cool. But again, also just like, I don't know, there's something just so incredibly off about the way it's portrayed.
I will say this though, the one thing Cybok, like, if Kirk really wanted to nail that in, Cybok wasn't personally benefiting from it, though.
Yeah.
Like, I get that's how you obfuscate, like, it being super obvious.
Uh-huh.
But, like, that would have been, like, the real clincher.
Yeah.
That Cybok wasn't gaining anything from it, outside of just potentially being right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it. And maybe that's it. Maybe I just don't get it.
Right? There'll be someone in the comments who's like, oh, you just don't understand.
You just don't understand, man. I don't know. Okay, so, you know who's great in this, though? James Doohan. He doesn't get much to do, but he has a really standout moment in when he breaks Kirk, Spock, and McCoy out of their cell. The stand back bit comes screaming into the room.
They're in the brig. Our 3 main guys are in the brig, and he Morse codes them to stand back, and they're like, "Stand back? What does stand back mean?"
Yeah, and he busts into the fucking room. It's great. Then right afterwards, he like bumps his head on a pipe. It's just
it is the epitome of what his character was.
That is Scotty. That's it.
The man can be brilliant, and I love seeing it. But then he's immediately the guy who should never be given the nuclear code.
Yeah. Okay, also, like, I question it. Is the Enterprise set different in this than it was at the end of Voyage Home? It looks different.
It looks different. That also could...
It could be the lighting.
It could be the lighting, and it could also be the fact that ship is purposefully in disrepair.
Yeah, I guess. But, oh man, that set at the end of Voyage Home is so nice, and this looks different. It really does. That may have something to do with TNG's existence, possibly.
Possibly, definitely possible.
But, yeah. Anyway. Oh man, dude, the fucking "To Boldly Go Where No Man Has Gone Before" plaque.
Right.
Miserable moment.
Like, this is after they've crossed the other barrier our galaxy apparently has.
Yeah. And oh man, the dialogue in this film is so bad. I have quoted the "God's a busy man" line, which Shatner clearly is taking so much pride in when he says it. I'm like, just stop, man.
He delivered it in exactly the kind of way he delivered his favorite one-liners from TOS.
Yeah. Maybe they'll want a piece of our action. Like, that was that. But that's an ironic line. Like, this God's a Busy Man is not quite that. This film killed me. I think this was it. This is the end. And I'm so sad this is our second to last adventure with this crew.
Like, I think... I'm not glad it happened. But I'm glad Shatner got a chance to tell, like, at least some of it. Like, he had... You pointed it out, like, when they were walking down in the desert of the Heaven planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like... They're like, I'm just glad this wasn't affected by TNG.
Yeah.
Because, like, well, you'll see... Hang on, just let me go somewhere about this a second.
Mm-hmm.
So, because Shatner clearly had a singular vision.
Yeah, it's just, like, this is so singularly what Shatner wants to be this movie.
Right. Like, I don't necessarily like it,
mm-hmm.
but I'm glad Shatner got to put out his idea into the world, though. It's not, like, offensive bad. It's just not great.
If for nothing else, to tell us how not to make a Star Trek movie.
Yeah, there's also that. Which every other odd number film I hear will ignore.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so I think it's the most, like, memed online. It's the one line that I knew from the movie. What does God need with a starship? Yeah, that moment.
Yeah, I didn't know that meme, but I was like, I'm hearing the not God say, oh, let me use your ship. And I'm like, what the hell does God need with a starship?
And then Shatner says the exact same thing. Terrible delivery.
Right? You commented early on that, like, he didn't seem to believe in second takes.
Yeah. Okay, seriously, there's a moment in the first campfire scene when DeForest Kelley clearly fumbles his line, and I was just like, you couldn't have asked for a second take, Shatner? And I think the same thing happened with James Doohan early on. It was really weird. But anyway, but part of me does kind of like the what does God need with a starship moment? Like, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But again, also it's just portrayed really weirdly, and also projector face God is so bizarre. And
you know what it reminds me of, and I don't know its name, but the Power Rangers cylinder.
Oh, the big head.
Yeah. You know exactly what I mean.
I know the big head. Yeah, I wasn't a Power Rangers kid, but yeah, I know it. You know what though? It really reminds me of is those really terrible old effects in TOS when a god would talk to the Enterprise. And, like, you could get away with it then, because it was 1966. This is 1980-fucking-9.
Right.
You can do better. We know you can do better.
I love, by the way, that there were 4 people who met not God.
Uh-huh.
2 of them believed it. The other 2 did not. I love that McCoy was one who believed it, like, immediately.
Yeah.
That is hilarious to me.
Yeah, that's weird. That's another thing. It's just, like, you feel like Shatner outlined this and didn't quite fully understand, for some reason, the characters he was writing his outline for. Like, there's just some really weird out-of-character moments for a lot of the crew in this. Tell you what's in character, though.
What's in character?
That moment on the Klingon ship between Kirk and Spock. I
Yes.
swear they almost kissed.
Hang on.
I wrote down Spurk in my notes.
And, like, 10
right
seconds
before they got, like, really close to each other, and Spock was like, not in front of the Klingons. And I was like, no! I mean, yes, all the yes. Not no, but, like, it was just, I hate myself, is all I'm trying to say.
That was hilariously timed.
And I guess the last scene I want to comment on here is this truly unhinged, hilarious moment. Like, I don't know. There are weird moments in these movies where sometimes you're supposed to take into account that, oh yeah, these are films following on from a 20-plus-year-old TV show. But also sometimes when it's just like, oh yeah, let's ignore the 20-plus-year-old TV show. It balances this weird line not super well.
Yeah.
But there's a specific...
Just all the films do this.
But there's a specific moment at the end here. When Kirk is talking to Spock and McCoy, and Spock is like...
Spock's brother is now dead, for
Spock
reference.
is like, yeah, he's like, I've lost a brother. And Kirk says, I had a brother once. Referring, of course, to Spock. Because he now has his brother back. And he's calling them a family. And sure, it's nice. But also, Kirk, you literally had a brother who died in TOS. Granted, in that same episode in TOS, I saw you forget about that guy just as quickly. But what the hell, man?
You had
a brother and a family, an extended family that brother married into. Like,
yeah, like,
what the fuck?
And they all died, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they all had that disease at it was the season 1 finale. Yeah, super weird moment. I don't get it. I don't get anything.
If Shatner even remembers filming that episode is beyond me.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, it's over. It's done.
It's over. It can't hurt us any longer.
That was. It probably can.
It probably will.
That was Star Trek V: The Final Frontier.
And amusingly, there's a couple more frontiers left.
Yeah, and one more with these guys, and that makes me so sad.
I know.
Truly, like, next time...
Countless hours with these people.
Yeah, next time will be the last time that we're watching an adventure and talking about online. This particular crew of people in this particular setting.
Like, and exclusively them.
Yeah, and now, I know I'll see some of these characters again. I know I'll see Kirk again. I know I'll see Spock again. I know I'll see McCoy again. And but individually, with other crews, not quite in this setting, not being the crew I've come to know and love so much over this time with them. It makes me sad. On one hand, I'm excited to see what we have in store for us in the future, but also, damn, I'm really fucking sad.
I'm really sad, and I don't want to distract from this point too long as a thought, but I know McCoy shows up at least once in TNG.
We've seen a picture.
Yeah, we saw the picture.
We've seen a picture of him and Patrick Stewart together.
Yes. So
I don't think that was it wasn't like a shot from the episode. It was literally just a behind the scenes, I'm Patrick Stewart and I'm DeForest Kelly, and we're both dressed in Star Trek clothes right now.
Okay, but
although actually, now that I think about it, maybe that was because it was during one of the filming of these movies.
Maybe possible.
Maybe he doesn't actually show up in the show.
I'd
like him to.
Let's just say he does for my just so I could finish my thought a second. If he's in the show, that means it's before all the movies are filmed. And he's gonna look younger if that happens.
That'll be weird, yeah. Unless they do some old makeup.
Possible.
That is possible.
But obviously it's not a guarantee. And then we're just sad that for this last solo adventure.
Yeah. Man, I'm sure it is good. I'm sure we have a good film in store for us next time. If nothing else, I will be an emotional mess because it's my last time with these guys.
I know. I'm so sad.
Yeah. In many ways, I'm just so unprepared. But excited for the future, which is kind of, I guess, what a lot of this journey is. And
yeah, I mean, the whole point of the show is to be excited for the future.
Yeah. Well, maybe not to be excited for the future, but to embrace it.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, I think that's a more apt way of putting it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it just excites me. It excites me in so many ways.
It excites me.
Yeah. But I guess we're gonna see what it's all about. Be sure to join us next time when we when we finish our adventure with the original crew of the Starship Enterprise. Until then, this has been Joey Morgan.
I'm Jacob.
Goodbye.